Okay, let's talk about something here with Rocky. Okay, so let me grab. I should have gotten this ready to begin with. Let me start here with Rocky. So yes, I was one of those people who bought, what is this? The Rocky the Knockout Collection, which has the first four movies in 4K. Okay, well that's fine. I got it for like 40 bucks and some change. So 10 bucks a movie, it was worth it at the time, or at least I thought. And I looked around and, I used some different sites to try to understand whether something's worth getting. And either I missed it or no one reported on it. But there are problems with these discs, as you probably already know. And so finding out about that, Warner Brothers, as you probably know, they, they kind of had this like secret disc replacement program. They wanted to keep it kind of quiet because it's costing them a lot of money, but it's kind of crappy, right? That they didn't tell everybody and just didn't say, hey, listen, we'll send you these things, we'll make good on these discs. And so what ended up happening for me, and this may have happened. Tell me your experience if this is what happened. And I get a rant after this. I mean, this is a rant as it is, but I get a rant for us collectors here. So I heard about this program. I emailed them, asked them what they wanted me to do. They said, send us a receipt or a picture of you with the discs. And so I did that, right? I sent them the receipt from Amazon and I sent them picture of me with this disc. I don't have the discs in here right now. You'll see why in a second, but I have the special feature, but I did this and it kind of showed two discs, right? But I was just kind of like, look, I have the discs. So whoever does their administration, right, of this stuff, I think they thought that I was only sending back two discs because I only showed two discs because, it's hard to show more than whatever, I guess I could have taken out all the discs and done a bread fan. Maybe tell me how you did it. But anyway, what ended up happening was I sent them all that information and they said, oh, well, now you're going to have to send all the discs back. So I'm like, okay, we're going to send you a mailer. So I gave them my information and eventually I get a mailer. And so I put the discs in and get to the post office and there's not enough postage. So I have to pay some of the postage. It's not that much. It's not that big of a deal, but it's annoying. And I have a feeling it's because I showed two discs. And so they gave me postage for two discs. I don't know. I don't know. Am I the stupid one here? It's fine. Tell me, am I dumb? It's like I showed a picture of because I held this up showing that I had the four movies and I was like, I don't know. Anyway, so fine, right? So let's do that. I'm shaking everything. We're like on the bridge of the Enterprise, which I'm going to talk about in a second, actually. And it relates. It relates. Star Trek relates to this in a second. Okay. So let's put these discs in. So this is what they right. They give you a box and it comes in here and it has some packing. And it has a little note. What's the note say? We are pleased to provide you with a replacement copy of Rocky, the Knockout Collection with audio and visual enhancements. Enhancements. Yeah. Yeah. Like we screwed up the discs and we had to fix them. Thank you. Please enjoy. We apologize for any inconvenience caused, and we appreciate your understanding as we work to ensure your utmost satisfaction with our product. Whatever. Whatever. Okay. And so, what's funny? So you get Rocky. Let's put now the reason this is open, I didn't do an unboxing of this. The reason this is open is basically because I wanted to watch these. And I originally saw Rocky and Rocky 2 at the theater. Oh, no, at a drive-in theater. I'm sorry. drive-in theater in 1979 when I was a wee lad, 8 years old. And the way they did it, and I don't know if there was a third movie. There could have been. I can't remember. I don't know if we got there in time. So a friend of the family, a friend of mine, my friend Joey, there was Joey, his sister Stacy, and his mother Carol. I won't say their last names, but it would be funny if they saw this. And we were in, should I say where we were? I don't know if they still live there. But we were in a kind of rural area of Massachusetts. And they asked if I wanted to go see Rocky with them. Rocky 2, because Rocky 2 was the new movie. So they started with, and I said, of course. And they started with Rocky 2, right? Because that was the new movie. And then I remember Carol saying, do you kids want to watch Rocky and stay? And if, I think I had to go to bed at like 8 p.m. or something like that, which I absolutely hated, Mom and Dad. Just so you know, I hated it. Hated going to bed that early. Still do. No, now I want to take a nap, But back then I didn't want to go to bed. And so what happened was, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. I want to stay. I want to stay up to 1 a.m, right? Because that's what you had to do, right? I think it was playing late. Rocky 2, I think, started after dark. That's why I think there was probably a first movie we may not have seen, or I can't remember. And then, usually there's a B movie at a drive-in. That's the way it used to be. And back then, I mean, you weren't even using your radio, if I remember correctly, right? You had these little speakers, and we watched it on top of a station wagon. It was like the perfect 1970s experience. And we watched Rocky 2, and we watched Rocky, and I was 8 years old. I remember Rocky, the first movie finished, and between all the music and the training and all that stuff, and I was so pumped up. But I was 8 years old, and it was 1979, right? Yeah, 1979. It was 1979. We couldn't go online. We didn't have phones. We didn't have smartphones. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't start a business. We couldn't start a YouTube channel. Couldn't do anything like that at that age. You know what we could do? Yeah. Yep, you're right. We could go to bed. And that's why. So I was just like rearing to take on the world. And I was like, go to bed. So, so yeah, Rocky 2. This thing just flew out, but didn't scratch the disc. Man, well, I want to stay in. Boy, there's more problems with these discs. Okay, it seems okay. I hope. So Rocky 2, that's where I saw them. So I actually saw them in the drive-in theater. Then, let me just say that from what I could see, for the age of the films, they looked really good. They look great. And I think, as you move along, they looked better. Rocky was probably shot on cheap film stock because it was low budget film. And they did a great job with it. So let's get Rocky 3 in here. Rocky 3, I did see Rocky 3 in the theater. So we'll put that in here. See, and like I was telling you, I was like, I had the picture of me like this, and so they thought there was only 2 discs. Stupid. So Rocky 3, of course, it's one of those films where things become a little bit more cartoonish, but it's fun. It's a really fun film, and it has some really iconic moments. And then, of course, you have Mr. T is Clubber Lang, and that was kind of the first time that people really, like, as a culture, latched on to Mr. T. And then you had Hulk Hogan, right? As who was he in that? I just watched these movies. Thunderlips, Thunderlips, the ultimate male, right? So he was great. So it was great. That's the name of the game. And we had Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was pretty decent. I think there may have been one scene in here that was really kind of grainy. very, very grainy. But it typically, you see grain in the second unit shots, right? When they do an establishing shot of the city, shot of anything, you tend to see more grain in those. So yes, that's Rocky 3. And then of course we have the iconic Rocky 4. And they put numbers and stuff on this. I don't know. There's a way you can find out about the serial numbers. I did look it up once. If I'm able to find them again, I might throw them. I probably won't do it right away, but so Rocky 4, of course, I saw Rocky 4 in the theater. And it was really fun, of course. That's a fun movie, very 80s, very MTV style. I didn't on this disc. I in the theater. I also saw with my wife and we went to see the Rocky versus Drago, Rocky v Drago, whatever they're calling it. Oh, it's right there, Rocky versus Drago. I didn't like. I just didn't like it. I prefer the original theatrical cut, and I might rewatch it because I have it one day. But I wasn't thrilled by it. And the seats at the theater, they had just, updated the seats and they were totally uncomfortable. And they were all leather and stuff, but they were just terrible. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was part of the problem, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that film. So that was great. And matter of fact, I got to show you something. I get a rant coming up. So yeah, you've seen these advertised around. Matter of fact, I might use the picture of me. I took a picture of me in like MMA gloves, hybrid MMA gloves in these, and I put them on my social media because I thought it was kind of funny. So my wife bought these for me. So this is I wore these for that picture. I wore these while I was watching Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. I did. And I wore them on 4th of July, for at least part of 4th of July. That's great. And they're silky and stuff. They're not really boxing shorts, they're like lounge around shorts. You could train in them a little bit, you could stretch and stuff. I do. If you don't know, I do. I have a martial arts channel. I do martial arts and stuff. So, I might eventually wear these for a video. I mean, they're good. They're nice. I like them. So I just wanted to show you. I just want to share. Okay. Okay. So here's my rant on this. Here's my rant. So, okay, great. This is wonderful. So what I was hoping is just like Star Trek, right? Oh, I grabbed the wrong Star Trek. Okay, you're gonna have to pretend for a second that this is the original series because I grabbed the Next Generation off the shelf. I'm sorry, but um, I was in a rush. Uh, whoops. So so you get the first four movies, right? In the that Star Trek, just like Rocky, and then they came out with 5 and 6 with slips, right? And when the you get a 4 movie set and you get it on sale and it's a good deal and you're like, yeah, it's fine. I'll get the other ones later. Great. No big deal. If that may not work for your type of OCD when it comes to collecting. I have my own type of OCD. But so I expected that there would be 2 slips, yeah, of 5 and Rocky Balboa, which you could say is Rocky 6. And great, those come up. Well, they're not doing that, at least not now. Right now, you can either get the full collection of 6 movies, right? Plus the director's cuts and all that stuff. And or let me just finish my thought, I guess. Or you can get the Steelbooks, and they don't have any other options right now. I don't want to pay $30. Groove, you can get them for $30 each, right? And it's like I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because if it comes down to it, maybe I'll sell this and get the full collection, or something or whatever, or give this away or something as a I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But right now, I'm waiting to see, are they going to have a slipcover version? Right? Are they going to have a slipcover version? They should. Um, it's just absolutely ridiculous that they didn't do it that way. And it's just a cluster, right? And it makes you not as invested in that studio when they do stuff like this. So I know what I was going to say. I was just going to mention that, five is a terrible but necessary movie. Now, some people like it. Some people say it's not as bad as, it's underrated or whatever. It's fine. It's not very good, and it's depressing. It's a depressing movie. We have rags to riches throughout most of the film, and then five is basically riches to rags, and it's kind of yeah, it's pretty depressing. But without it, you couldn't have Rocky Balboa, 2006, and you couldn't have Creed 1 and 2. I don't care about Creed 3. I did not like Creed 3. I saw all three of them in the theater. I went to see Creed 3, hoping against hope, but knowing that it just wasn't going to work out. And unfortunately, it didn't. I was rooting for it. I was hoping, but I didn't like it. But Creed and Creed 2, I really, really like. Some people are like, well, Creed is kind of a rehash of the first Rocky movie, and it is, but I still like it. It's cast very well. So yeah, and Rocky Six, especially the older I get, the more I love that film. I really love movies and books and such about older guys who have to kind of make a comeback. And that's Rocky. That's like Stallone was in his early 60s and he was playing like a 50 something year old Rocky making a comeback. And it's awesome. I all every Rocky movie I need a box of tissues and I cry at these are love stories. My stories, my stories. So tell me about because I'd love to know your history with the Rocky franchise. Were you smarter than me? Were you smarter than me? Did you wait and not get this thing? Right? And you're gonna get all the movies. Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. So anyway, this is my H Dave MI channel, which was gonna be tech, but ended up becoming more movies. So this was great. Talk to me in the comments about your movies, about your experience with Rocky, your experience with the full franchise, and some of your fond memories, because it's fun to talk about that stuff. And any questions in the comments, like, subscribe, share the video, whatever you like to do. I appreciate it. And whatever you do, just keep collecting. And I'll see you next time.